Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network. Coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square, right next to the Ligama Balls Ballroom. With your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Cletus, I can't even tell you I'm so awesome. I'm always awesome. The only problem I have in life is none. It's quite the list.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's pretty awesome. I think life is awesome. Life is good to be lived and enjoyed, relaxed. Be lazy, be fun.
That's right.
Yep. Avoid these fucking Illuminati fucking streamers that think they are the light because they can see reflections in fucking darkness.
Yeah, I just hadn't figured out the how to be lazy part yet, but I have faith I'll get there.
Yeah, it takes time. I'm a little bit older than you. But I've been lazy my whole career, so it's nothing new for me.
Yeah.
So tonight, Cletus, we are going to dive into the deep waters of just how reflections can tell us a story. A story about anything you want them to tell. Will show you anything you want to see and allow you to talk out your ass as long as you want to talk.
Yeah.
What do
You've
think,
been watching YouTube, huh?
Well, I some of these people get 25,000 views from the most outrageous, sickening, filthy, nasty shit that you could ever dream of to be produced and put on fucking line. And the viewer flocks to it like a fucking moth to a light bulb. The tenacity of the ignorance, the depth and the grip that it has on the viewer is stunning. Please.
Yeah. I take it you found a sample today that's of extreme interest and importance.
I do. And we are going to cover that along with a couple other topics, including the Idaho 4. And the continual reminder that you, the viewer, are the biggest fucking problem with the internet. All 5.62 billion of you. Cletus?
Yeah, I think I've started to realize that if God flicked some of these people in the forehead, that it wouldn't do much good because his finger would just sink in like a rotten fucking melon.
My biggest fear is for many of these people to pick their nose and a 2-ounce booger come out and their head cave in. I think they ought to be very careful of picking their nose because there could be consequences.
Well, hey, it's a what is today? Monday? Is it a Monday?
Today's
No,
a Tuesday.
it's Tuesday, and I had bacon because pigs were on sale for $9.99 in Ohio today, so it's a good fucking day.
If your pigs can fly, name them War Pig, the only flying pig the internet has ever known. Cletus?
Yeah. Good bacon.
So
Good bacon.
Let me see here. Let me see if we can get into present. I think I click present. Share a screen. I go in and I pick Sebastian Roger's disturbing video. So I want to please the viewer to be advised that this is footage that may in fact contribute to you being even stupider, more dumb, more ignorant, and more unable to make sense of reality after it's viewed. I, the host, apologize. However, I suspect many of you are comfortable with this kind of fucking situation. Please.
Yeah, and shout out to who is this? J is for Justice podcast. This is where this wonderful information comes to us from.
J is for Justice. 25,000 views streamed one day ago. And this is the context of what we're going to see. Just like we had with Linda Lane, with the miracle seers, the miracle hearers, right? That are they're it. They can see reflections in asphalt. They can see reflections in trees, bark, leaves, curbs, cars, mirrors, windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, visions. They can see it everywhere.
All employees of the Asphalt Mirror Corporation, ran by none other than Nick Barris.
Nick Barris is your fucking jerk off place. Anyway, so here we go. So I'm going to play this video.
And remember, it's gonna be 3 different zoomings. You're watching the same clip.
3 different zooms, Cletus. I see it up at the top. Look at that. It looks like people are getting laid. Cletus.
Hey, powder packs. If you spam my chat again, you're gonna get blocked.
It looks like They
Wow.
are in fact pineapple lovers. Cletus.
That escalated quickly. That it looks like they just finished. Why the fuck did that get so big all of a sudden? That's funny.
Well, she told us it would be 3 different zooms, but apparently what you're seeing there isn't shrubbery in the wind. That is actually people engaging in.
It's about to get bigger. So keep watching. Remember, this is
Clearly, erection size is important here. It's about to get bigger, Cletus.
Welcome in, Potato Head.
And Potato Head. Yeah.
Never been called that before.
I'll be my Mr. Potato Head. Baby, give me back my ear. You're yanking it off. Quit grabbing me by the ears. They're not handles.
So what are we looking at here?
Well, here's what I think we're looking at here. This particular group of reflections from this particular group of fucking non-intelligent streamers is purportedly showing fighting between obviously Chris. Chris has got to be there, right?
Oh,
if this is any fight at all. Yeah. So, Mr. Proudfoot, put your violent tendencies in your pocket for a minute, would you? All right, back to the show. I'm curious to see if Proudfoot's anger turns into victory. Let's see. It really looks like someone's getting ass fucked while being bent over at a ladder.
I think
it looks like he's kissing someone's ass. Look,
yeah, this is what I call a ruckus. Keep your eye on the ruckus.
I saw a dick. Cletus, I can't watch this X-rated stuff with company.
She said, "Keep your eye on the ruckus."
That's dude, but you watch
that's not what I refer to. What I'm seeing in my world, but hey, to each their own.
Let me tell you what I'm observing. On the far left of the screen, there appears to be somebody standing, and there's somebody kneeling before them. Do you see that, Cletus? On the far left, in the almost not quite the middle of that white blob they call light. Do you see the shadows? Do you see? It might even be a Bigfoot based on the shape of the head, or the penis is so big it's distended the head. I don't know, Cletus, but it's something to be viewed. Let's get back to this video. I'm somehow getting excited, Cletus.
Going on in front of these lights.
What is going on in front? Look, is that you mean it? Cletus, you need to answer me. Did you just not see what looked to be a penis in front of someone's face?
I saw Sasquatch and a penis and someone bent over. I don't know.
This is incredible. This may verify this is the Bigfoot video that the world has been waiting for. We now know that they not just reproduce, but they suck each other off. This is incredible, Cletus.
But that kind of looks like Nick Barris. I just don't know which end he's on.
Get bigger, folks.
Well, I'm going to guess that Nick Barris is definitely servicing the Bigfoot.
Well, I hope he's enjoying the fact that his.
And I'm Tom, and we're the Basement Brothers.
That's loud. I hope he's enjoying the fact that his, exclusive footage is being scrutinized this much to show him and Bigfoot.
Yeah,
maybe these are the house lights from the from the pineapple under the sea that he lives in. He's SpongeBob's cousin.
I want to tell you something. When you watch this, and I mean no disrespect to any of the families involved, but that whole bullshit about fucking pineapples has come to life in this video. I think this confirms that the Proudfoots are swingers, and they do it in their garage and fucking lit with all the lights on. Cletus?
I guess so. I mean, you see it here first. Well, not first, maybe 27th or 28th, but you see it here nonetheless.
We may end up going in the same direction as the Inquirer. The Your Ass Hurts News Network may have found a new direction thanks to who's the jerk off that made this? Wait, J is for justice. There's a face even your dick won't come on. Cletus?
You fucked me up with that one. Sarge?
Yes, sir. I don't even know where I come up with these witticisms. It's just who I am.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what the green ambience is on the right. Is that mood lighting?
No, that's the pineapple that's hung outside.
Oh, I see.
Do you see it?
I can't. Well, I mean, I also see a green blob underneath the big green blob and a green blob to the left of the big green blob. I'm thinking it might be
They're
a
smaller blobs,
radioactive.
right?
I think it might be a radioactive Ninja Turtle glowing in the dark.
Well, let's get back to this video. This video is just, this is disturbing that this is connected to the Sebastian Roberts case where we have a 15-year-old missing boy, and somehow some kind of sexcapade being done publicly. Obviously, the garage doors are open, the lights are on. Let's continue the video. We now have arrows pointing to what appears to be nothing. Huh. And they're multicolored. Are they indicating that some of this behavior is homosexual? Look at the rainbow colored arrows. Is that what they're saying? I'm lost here, Cletus. I can't make heads nor tails with this.
Are they pointing to the angel wing that's glowing white in the dark?
It's not an angel wing. Look at that. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Nick Barris is a fucking shapeshifter.
Dude, that's some vulgar shit.
Wow.
And look you could see the hands reach around and hold the back of the head while something erect like is moving in and out of the orb.
But wait, it's gonna get bigger. Oh,
now there's white arrows. Apparently, the people involved in this crime are white and homosexual.
They're letting you know the important parts to look out for. You know,
right? These black spots mean everything. The world revolves around fucking black spots, Cletus. I got the volume turned down for the sake of the viewer. It's a difficult thing to watch, but I'm looking at that picture and I'm telling you, I'm seeing pornographic images. And listen, Cletus, am I off base here?
Well, I would say, judging from the fact that that's what you see in this Rorschach painting, you might need help, Sarge.
What's the contravening theory that this was some kind of fight club like they had on Linda Lane, but the other assholes that saw reflections? Is this the same story as that?
I think this confirms that this is Linda Lane 2.0. The only thing that's lacking is somebody has got to go
a third person
prove that they edited this and removed the color image of Bigfoot, Nick Barris, and whoever the fuck else, and the pineapple.
Can I tell you
we know that that's what happened.
If you look at the pineapple, just listen. Right in front of the pineapple is a black spot that's an eye, and diagonally down to the front is a black spot that's a nose. And the big green orb, there's a lower green orb, that's the ear of the dog. That looks like a toy poodle to me. Cletus?
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I do. It's like the negative of cloud watching. I think that's
that could be a clown. That could be a clown.
A clown. That's right.
Clowns are always part of these horrible.
That's what this is. This is a fucking crime circus. Oh my God, that's what we're watching.
This is a Stephen King particular writing. That's a sick fuck. I can't stand that guy with all the stuff. But I'm just flabbergasted at the intensity of the oral action in this video. Look at, there's now what appears to be a rabbit being backdoored, would be the polite way to say it. Correct, Cletus? They're having sex with animals in there.
And the strangest thing about this is it's not even looking at the Proudfoot's home.
Well, I don't know what kind of...
Are they teleporters now?
I don't know. Is it possible?
Or, well, you know what? No, I forgot. They're so rich, they own the whole fucking subdivision. That's what it is.
That's right. That the Proudfoots, and they only pay $3,000 a month for the mortgage on the whole subdivision. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
they're in the know. They got relatives in the know. They're connected. They got, they're all of that in a bag of fucking chips. But I either see a two-headed alien backing up onto a fucking poodle, or I see a fight club. Look at these guys. Look more like they're having intimate activity than fighting activity. I have rougher sex than that.
But were there 400 pay-per-view watchers for this one? That's what I'm waiting on.
Oh, this is a private video. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, ladies, I think we've conclusively proven that when looking at fucking shadow images through the lens of a fucking unidentified camera, you could see anything the fuck you want, from poodles to orgies, blowjobs, pineapples, and a fight club. Do you think maybe these girls just need some dick, Cletus? So, could that be part of the reason?
I will not answer that question because I will not even remotely make an invitation. I won't make a statement that ever could be considered an invitation.
Well, listen, could it all come down to it's just the D, the lack of the D,
the D. Oh, wow.
Well, so that was an interesting little synopsis there of just how fucked up that person and anybody that went into that fucking stream. You 25,000 moronic fucking idiots that went in to watch that fucking thing and listen to anything that woman had to say about it at all. Okay.
Do you remember
crackhead? Okay.
Do you remember the private and members only phone conversation that Miss Terry Lynn had secretly recorded, like the rabid bitch that she is, and then released? Yeah. Now that's the talk of the day. Everybody's going through that. Everybody's going through that today, and I hear there's some great stuff in there. Enough for probably another 150, 200,000 watches today, and another at least 3,000 or 4,000 view hours to
decipher that. That's Chris up there beating up on somebody and fucking killing the kid and dragging him off. Fair enough.
What, in the video or the phone call?
Well, in both, obviously, that's what they led up to. But let me just say to the viewer, and listen, I don't mean, listen, there's no way I can insult you. Let me be clear. If you watched and listened to anything that woman said, there isn't an insult big enough in the world to affect that puny fucking brain of yours. Okay? You're all so deeply fucked up and beyond the pale to engage and allow somebody to stream that fucking horse shit to the public. And to be a part of it is worse than to being the creator of it. That's like watching a baby choke to death on its own fucking formula. You fucking sick bastards. To engage streamers like that are implying that Chris Proudfoot not only fought out there, but killed that boy, makes you the sickest group of fucking people there ever were. And that's in her stream and every other fucking stream that allowed that engagement to be played and gave it any fucking airtime for the points that it was trying to make, gave it any credence or credibility or even accepted any part of that fucking stream. You are a sick bunch of motherfuckers. Cletus?
Yeah.
That only exists because the viewer exists for that to be seen. The viewer drives the topic on the internet, not the creator. But when you have such sick fucking internet people, your creators are even sicker. And that's what keeps you coming back. Hi, all to the chat room. Kimber, Great Pearl. Wait a minute. Let me see here. If I list all your names, will more people show up? Rhea Boldick, Illuminati, the queen of moderation, who I hear just recovered from a ban from a friendly channel. I don't understand and don't really want to know. Cindy Kerf, the Wanda Life, the Great Pearl. Go ahead there, Clue.
She's also, that is my baby, and she bought me some bacon for $9.99 while ago in Ohio. So, yeah. Thanks, Clue.
Aren't you bacon? There's some inside joke that I don't know what it is. The host is not privy to the inside joke. Can you tell host I need
it's a special bacon that came from Moor Pigs. And it was only $9.99. I'm not quite sure it was for a pound. I would guess it was more than a pound worth, but the world
probably not based on the quality of that fucking pig. Probably a whole farm for $9.99. Unfucking believable. Anyway, so where were we? So we've covered, I think, in great detail the Fight Club / sexcapades / orgy / pineapple escapades ever. I think we caught that pretty well, right?
Yeah. Linda Lane 2.0.
And I think we're clear that it's the viewer that's the fucking major problem here, not the fucking content. Or obviously the streamer's a fucking problem. But what's a bigger problem is the amount of fucking lunatics that jump in there to watch it, to give it clicks, to put money in that person's pocket. I mean, let's be honest. YouTube is a place to come and earn money. That's all. That's the only reason people are here. Not me, not you. right? But that's why people come, and I don't begrudge anybody the opportunity to earn an income. Okay, if images of my finger that hurts made me money, I might put them out there. Cletus?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my big toe is working on setting up an OnlyFans, so you know.
Yeah, well, I think my ring finger blew up just to remind me that there should never be a ring placed on that particular finger again, because you suck at relationships.
Is that the finger?
Yeah, that is. It's the ring finger, bro. That's all fucked up.
That's exactly what happened. You got too deep in a relationship to the point your finger hurt.
My ring finger took a fucking beat, and it's crippled up, and it's like, you know,
funny.
Yeah, and so that's a message. It is. YouTube is a fucking giant nut house. It was taken over by the inmates, and all the inmates become streamers, and all the streamers are the inmates. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a nut house or just a giant fucking tree, and you know, we're just a bunch of monkeys trying to figure out a branch that we can hang out on together.
Well, dude, I've got dark blue cigarette pack with what looks like shadows on there, and my first look, it appears like someone's giving someone a blowjob on this pack of cigarettes. It's kind of fucking disgusting. That video ruined me. Now every shadow I see is going to be something fucking connected to people engaging in coitus.
Maybe you should take an inverted image of it and post it. move your phone around while you're recording it and post it on YouTube saying it's exclusive footage.
I'm just flabbergasted. The level of fucking the depth and the fucking just the lack of dignity, the lack of fucking humanity. I mean, what is the payoff for going after Chris? When in all fairness, okay. Hey, Charlotte Gross, is if little Sebastian is up in North Carolina, somehow something tells me that seems more directly connected to Seth than it would Chris. Cletus?
I mean, in all honesty, I couldn't even speculate, because what it tells me is that the only thing I really care about, in all honesty, at this moment, when I think about that could be him, is that he's alive.
Right.
And seems to be doing well, you know. Looked like he had all of his appendages and a new pair of shoes and all of his fingers, and seemed to be okay. So, you know, now it's just a matter of finding him if that was him. And that's really all I give a shit about right now.
And that's, you know, something that's all that matters. And I do hope that's him. And the story of how he got to be there will be disclosed, if ever, through him. Not through these fucking YouTubers that are watching videos of shadows. I mean, when you reduce yourself to that level of ignorance, okay, that's like a starving dog eating his own shit. That's what that is. You've reduced yourself to eating your own shit to look for fucking calories. It's nasty.
Well, you know, if he is found, he should proposition all of these fucking wackadoodles out here. You know, each of you give me $1,000 and I'll give you 5 minutes of my time for your stream. And go on their stream and tell them all to fuck straight off. Give me my $1,000.
There you go. Go fuck yourself. Meanwhile, if he is found, we're going to throw a big celebration at the Lig My Balls Convention Center at the base of Cock Tower in Beijing, where Your Ass Hurts News Network broadcasts globally around the world, which would pretty much be the same thing as that, globally. Cletus?
That's right. That's right.
We're satellite powered, Cletus. We actually can see things from space bouncing off slant-eyed Chinese satellites to then obviously solve crimes.
It's not that the eye of the satellite is slanted; it's that the image that you get is a slanted view.
Oh. Well, apparently some of the host's racism has boiled to the surface. Cletus?
Well, you know, I'm trying to keep you in check, but I'm just letting you know. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. You disagree or have another point of view, you are mud. I don't know what that means, Rocky Go-Abouts, or in what context that's being stated. Do you?
That means that, you go into a lot of chats and a lot of channels, and they're let's say they're playing that video zoomed in or whatever the fuck we just witnessed, and you say, yeah, this is bullshit, and they'll block you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because dear God, I wouldn't say it was bullshit. I'd say you people should be charged with peeping fucking toms. People are over there having a fucking orgy, and you're over here peeking at them with a camera. What's the matter with you?
Well, and
Let people be people. Let live and let live.
probably one of the most hostile environments on these YouTube streets I've seen yet was I witnessed today. Probably second only to the night we had old Detective John on the show by accident. He came in and we invited him up, and all that drama was had. But today, I look up from my conference call, and Clue has Mr. Gray Hughes on panel with her. And I saw this, and I thought, well, this is gonna go over like a fucking lead balloon. And I'm watching the chat as I'm sitting in here listening to them talk. And there's a lot of people with strong opinions, but there was only one that got timed out in the whole fucking thing, and both sides of the aisle speaking their minds. How about that?
Listen,
It does exist.
Where I draw the line is when you do not have facts to support your position. I will not engage people that don't have a verifiable fact. So if you're going to tell me that Chris is involved because he fucking whacked this kid with a belt, I feel like finding you and whacking you with a belt until you go kidnap a child. Okay? That's what you deserve for thinking like that. There's no verifiable fact to connect point A to point B. And if you're going to come in this room or any conversation where I'm around and try to go that route, I'm going to humiliate you and remind you, okay, that my dick smells like shit because I was with your mother. All right, that's how it ended up like that. It's not that fucking difficult. Cletus?
Very both poetic and inspirational, Sarge.
Terrifying too. Who's going to watch my dick?
I think we just watched a video of that happening, didn't we?
Oh, snap. I mean, there's nothing better than a show where you come out and make fun of everybody equally, because it really applies across the fucking board. I mean, there's several hundreds of people that have come through here that I'm sure it doesn't apply to. But when you think about the 5.62 billion people that have access to social media and the internet, and then you look at these channels creating videos out of shadows and reflections from pavement. Folks, the last time I looked, you barely could see your shadow on a pavement, for fuck's sakes. But clearly you can get images of people fighting and peeing on people's faces, and Chris beating up on Seth or Sebastian or somebody. I don't understand, man. I just don't understand.
I believe we have breaking news, Sarge, from the health desk. Not health desk. I'm sorry.
We have breaking news from Clue Illuminati. Clue?
Technically, this could be from the health desk, because it has just been reported to me that Terry Lynn was reported by someone who watches me because she recorded the secret phone call with Chris Proudfoot to help him in his court case against Nina. Let me tell you how this is a health announcement. If I see you on the street ever, you will need an ambulance.
Damn.
And there you go.
Yeah. And I
heard it here first, folks.
I promise that if there's any lost shoes up someone's ass, I will pay for them. Please.
I'll buy the other one. Oh, you said them. I thought you said it. Oh. Wow. Well,
I do have this wait, I may have hit the wrong one. I did hit the wrong one. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Yeah, and share. There you go. State of Idaho, plaintiff versus Brian C. Kohlberger. I could read this whole thing, or I could give a brief summation of what I understand it to mean. Cletus, how should we handle this?
I'd say sum it up and then let's see how the conversation goes. I may need to pull parts out of it because I don't know that I've read it all.
What I understand the prosecution to be saying is that in an alibi defense, there's certain things that are typical to an alibi. Witnesses, names, locations, receipts, things of that nature. And that Kohlberger's alibi to this point includes none of that. Therefore, no one can come in to testify to that. And that's what he's saying. Now, he's also confirming that the alibi Kohlberger is using is similar. It's the same one he used before. And in a sense, it is, with the only addition being that particular park, Walla 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 Bing Bang Park. And, so in other words, Kohlberger is not claiming a physical witness, nor is he claiming a physical location where he would produce a receipt like a Taco Bell or a Dingo Ringo or a Pineapple Orgy at some of his local friends' establishment. So that's what I see they're saying in here. And in all fairness, it doesn't affect the case as far as Kohlberger goes. They're not denying him his constitutional right. They're just saying you can't go into trial and all of a sudden bring up fucking Mindy Walla Walla Bing Bang and she's your fucking witness that you weren't there. You follow me?
So here's my question. This is in response, obviously, to that one of the last Ann Taylor filings where Cy Ray comes into play. But was that filing an actual motion for defense of alibi?
I think it was.
Okay.
I also disagree with this particular one where it says that Brian Kohlberger is the only one that can testify for Brian Kohlberger's whereabouts. But I think in the context of if he wants a witness to his location, it's going to be him. He's going to rely on the phone just like they do.
Yeah, I mean,
but they're also trying to set it up so it forces him to testify. And I've said this all along. I don't think this goes to trial. And if it does, I seriously think Mr. Kohlberger will be getting on that stand of his own volition. No, nobody can humanize him but him.
So let me ask,
and nothing else can.
Let me ask you a question. In this filing right here, since they address his motion for alibi,
right,
or defend that they're contesting that he can't provide that as an alibi.
No, they're not saying
well, I know, but hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. That would only mean that he can't bring anybody as a witness to his location, but it doesn't. It kind of negates the confidentiality of what Cy Ray has got to say, does it not? And where I'm going with that is, would that not, in a sense, make it to where it could possibly be made public? If he's not using Cy Ray as a witness for his alibi, then why?
Listen, his alibi can be public because it's been released to the public. It was done in an open hearing. So yeah, they're not sealing his alibi.
Yeah,
right. And look, there's some wording here that makes it appear like they're going to force Kohlberger to testify, or he has no alibi, or Kohlberger has no alibi with his argument. And although it appears that's what they're saying, in fact, I don't think that's really where they're taking it. They're simply saying, and you see it in a quote down below, where the Supreme Court ruled that you can't, have an alibi, ambush people with an alibi. That's what this is to prevent. And in fairness, I know it doesn't seem right that you have to tell the court your alibi, but if Kohlberger did, for instance, have a witness that could place him somewhere else and it was corroboratable, then this case would have to have been stopped. And we all know that was never the situation with Brian. His alibi was, and I said it in the beginning, his alibi is going to be exactly the police work that they used to accuse him. They'll show that inaccuracy and that 2-hour window, okay, that during that 2-hour window, they can't locate Brian at all anywhere. And they can argue all they want. They have him on video when, in fact, all they have on a video is a white Hyundai Elantra. Nobody can think that's what they have. And like you guys, I heard some guy, Gray, what's his name earlier?
Gray Hughes.
Yeah, Gray I heard him talking. And look, I think maybe he was a cop or something. I don't know what his situation was. But if you can't place me at the crime directly with evidence, that arrest warrant I don't think should have ever been acted upon. There's nothing in that warrant that tells the judge that Brian Koberger was at that house. And there's nothing been added in the 17 months or however long this has been going on. There's nothing that's been added that directly places him in that home. You can argue transfer DNA, but that's not part of the PCA. That's not the reason they arrested him. That's got nothing to do with his arrest. They used that to support the arrest. In other words, they used the DNA after the arrest to claim, look, we got the right guy. After the fact. That's the order in which this took place. And when you read the accusatory instrument, a likeness to his vehicle isn't his vehicle. Okay? It just isn't. My ass has got a likeness to your face, Greg, but it ain't your face. Let's be clear. It's a likeness.
Well, so he did make one point today in our discussion that reminded me of where I had gotten to once before with this thing, and I got hung up on it in terms of my view of the PCA and being probable suspicion or probable cause. And that is that I think the conversation was sort of started about the issue with the IGG being confidential and all this, right? Everybody thinking that that's a tip and it should be disclosed and all this. But ultimately, my hang up with the PCA, my biggest hang up in terms of it has been the fact that they arrested him prior to doing a buccal swab. But Gray made a good point that I can't really argue with that hard, is that they collected the trash, found the DNA that matched the father's DNA. That's the running assumption, even though I think you can read that paragraph multiple ways. Right. But let's say that that's accurate. Then at the end of the day, I have to back off and say they did have probable cause to arrest him because they had DNA that matched his. Now they can't prove at that point.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. The judge has made it specifically a strong point, multiple times, meaning more than twice, that none of the IGG work was used in the arrest. And when you collected trash that matched to a potential father that's based on fucking IGG work, even though you're comparing the samples, it was the IGG work that led you to that house. And then it was the collecting of that DNA through IGG tip that then brought it back. And then you made the arrest. So what he's saying that IGG was used in the arrest. And that's what the court keeps saying. It was not. The defense or the prosecution has made it clear. None of the IGG work was used in the arrest of Brian Koberger.
Well, it all comes back to the point of, the point or the tip. It comes back to the tip, right? And whether the point of contention is whether that is valid or not. Because in terms of did they violate any rights? And if they didn't, and is it even something that should be looked into? Because at the end of the day, the tip doesn't really matter if they got enough information and data for probable cause, then they made the arrest legally. And the IGG, even if the IGG didn't exist, you could theorize that they had his name, his car on November 29th. Now, it is questionable as hell as to why they didn't act on him until December 23rd. But at the end of the day, they could have reasonably gotten to him. I think
he could have been one of many names. Listen, he could have been one of many owners of an Elantra.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I still think there are a lot of issues with this. I'm just looking at the PCA and through a little different lens this evening, because he did remind me of that, and I had thought of that once before and was hung up on that, but I'm just not so sure anymore.
Yeah, and even if the process used to arrest him is constitutional, let's say they didn't, and clearly at this point, it seems the way the system is actually got it framed, and that's what they're running with, right? They're moving forward towards a trial, and she's not making any arguments, even with the Supreme Court, that the arrest of her client was unconstitutional. So she's making arguments that the standards used to indict her client do not meet constitutional vigor, which is an accurate argument. The court ruled against that, but it was the court that, in fact, violated that fucking constitutional law when they ruled in other cases that reasonable cause was all they needed. So, in fact, you got a Supreme Court that had a standing law of a standard that they then changed by rulings on other cases. And now they're sticking with their rulings over and above the actual constitutional law. That's what you have there in Idaho. The court got it wrong the first time, just like how many times did abortion go through the federal system? And the problem with the abortion thing was always, and I always knew this problem, none of the people that opposed it, that supported the people that opposed it, none of them brought legal action that would have provided a solution. That happens so many times, especially in politics. You think all these lawyers and judges are on your side, but the thing lingers for decades. And the whole argument with Roe v. Wade was simple. It wasn't a federally protected constitutional right. And it would be fine to rule that, because in the end, each state makes its own laws. And a state could make the law that abortion was legal. And there was nothing the federal government could do to stop them. But what the ruling did originally was it forced every state to perform them. And that was an unconstitutional ruling. That was legislating from the bench. And that's basically what happened here in Idaho. They legislated from the bench. They crossed the bounds and they changed the definition of what was written in their constitution, as did the people here in the federal government. And when they ruled this time, they didn't outlaw abortion. They didn't ban abortion at all. They simply said that there is no federal protection for abortion because it's not a constitutionally protected item. It's not like your gun is it's written in the Constitution. Government shall not infringe. But there's nothing in the Constitution that says government shall not infringe on your right to take your child's life. There's nothing in there that says anything remotely like that. That's why the cases were over. That's why it was overturned. So now you look around the country and you'll see lots of states that have abortion because the voters voted for it, and the feds will stay out of it. It's got nothing to do with the federal government. And that's, so those two issues, I put them together as an example of courts legislating rather than ruling on the letter of the law. Please.
So let me ask you this about this document. This is where I'm at with this. Cy Ray can be can be an expert witness, whether he's a witness for the alibi or not. Would you say that's a fair statement?
But he's not going to testify as a witness. Cy Ray is not a witness to anything.
No, but but an expert witness can testify about or an expert, you can call it what you want, an expert on CAS data, CSLI data, whatever, right?
Right.
Even if the judge throws this or stops this alibi, Cy Ray and what he contributes to this will still be allowed because he is still an expert witness by definition in terms of putting up a defense to the or shooting probable or reasonable doubt into the CAS data. I see no reason that he can't. Is that fair?
Listen, I'm going to say this right now. Everything in the PCA was referred to. The cracker clause referred to the PCA in these filings. Okay. Therefore, every accusation in the PCA is arguable.
So then here's my question that's really got me puzzled right now. Ann Taylor should know this. So what's her angle of even presenting an alibi that she knows doesn't fit the criteria of the Idaho statute? Do you think she's trying to pressure Bill Thompson by making this alibi and basically showing a card? And this was the filing used to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ann Taylor is a step ahead of most of us in that. Her filings are definitely there to spread a message about what they have.
Yeah.
So all of these accusations, he was a stalker, through motions, that was crushed. Fair enough?
You see it as she's got him on his back foot, and now she's pushing.
Yeah, when they ask for an alibi, Ann Taylor knows exactly what they mean, but Ann Taylor went and filed an alibi that reduplicated what she had already said, and said she was going to, that they have an expert testimony now.
Yeah.
To show Mr. Kohlberger was at the park and not anywhere near that house. There's no way that could be denied to be brought forward in the court. You can't exclude that.
Right.
Right.
So then she's either really not a good attorney or she's definitely better than Bill Thompson.
Oh, she's definitely better. But also you have to understand the reason the state is allowed to do what they're doing with the motion is to stop an ambush. You can't ambush the defense, the prosecution with undiscovered information and bring in new information and hammer them. You can't just drop out of this, right?
Yeah.
The same applies for the defense. If the defense has an irrefutable alibi that includes witnesses and people, places, or things, right? You have to turn that over to the prosecution before trial. You can't just walk in. I've been in jail 3 years, but the whole time I was with this girl and her parents at this restaurant. It doesn't work like that, bro. You gotta vet that out before. Also, you got to give them reasonable time to vet what you're arguing. If you're saying that you were in that situation with girlfriend and family and all, they need time to look to confirm that alibi or find it to be false. So that's what these arguments are about, folks. It's not about, the argument that the guy has no alibi. Of course, he has an alibi. Anything he says to contradict their accusation is, and you could say that's an alibi. Technically, right?
Right.
You said I smacked my sister, and I said, no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. No, I wasn't even home. Those could be considered, they're not alibis, they're explanations, but again, the same fucking general principle when you're arguing.
Right.
Yeah. So Cy will be allowed in. The other information that's going to be contradictive, the police, like she said, I'm waiting on discovery. And I've said this numerous times, the officers that provide the discovery and made these conclusions will end up being exculpatory witnesses for Koberger, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely getting more interesting.
I think it's getting closer.
I kind of lean to agree with you because it's the prosecution's move for sure, and I really don't know what moves they have left other than actually handing over the same shit that they've been asked for 18 months. And I can't imagine how, at this point, that could be damning in a way that, would get him to plea or get them to do anything other than ultimately ask for it to be dismissed. I can't understand how that could come about at this point.
Well, here's the thing is I don't argue innocent or guilt. I argue weight of evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
And the weight of the evidence against Koberger is a feather. The counter arguments, okay, is an Abrams main battle tank, which weighs almost 70 tons. So you got to find a way to get that feather. You got to get a lever long enough. And that's what it's going to take, a long lever. Because as we were shown, a big enough lever, give me a big enough lever, I can move the world. I forget who said that, but it was a famous philosopher. Well, a famous mathematician. And so that feather needs a lever 4,800 miles fucking long before it's going to be able to lift that Abrams tank.
Well, and you said you don't contest his guilt or innocence. You weigh I forget how you said that, but the weight of the evidence. And I look at it as I look at reasonable doubt. Because, I do believe he should be innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I try to consider it, if I'm a juror, what have you got to show me? And that's why I sit and I say I don't know at this point if everything Ann Taylor is claiming she can prove, everything Cy Ray is claiming he can prove, and it's not just wild accusation, then I don't know how the prosecution could deliver anything that's going to eliminate the reasonable doubt he can create.
Well, let me just tell you right now that in that motion, one thing that people aren't paying attention to is that Bill did point to that PCA. Bill is resting all of his fucking, and this is for all of you dumb fucks that think he's got secret evidence we don't know about yet. In his arguments against the alibi, he weighs it against the timelines and the information in the PCA. That's the cusp of his case. That is the heart of his case. His story is the PCA. And if he can't verify that story without reasonable doubt, then the case dies. I don't give a fuck about the DNA. The DNA don't even matter at that point. If you can't place Koberger in that house beyond a reasonable doubt, nothing's going to convict Koberger. Nothing should. Well, because that's a lack of evidence.
That was the final point Gray had today, as he said, so you don't think that the car and the sheath prove he was there. He was at the house. And I said, I think that they're both compelling arguments, but if either of them on their own fall in process, then no, you have a problem, because that's kind of where I'm at with it, is the car and the sheath have to both be proven Everything that implicates him about both of those things has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, or you cannot place him at that crime scene. And I don't know how they can do that, especially when the PCA already creates some doubt in my mind about the identification of the car, assuming that they have camera footage that actually clearly proves the movement of the car. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the rest of it play out.
Well, I think the DNA becomes faulty when you look at the crime scene itself and how it was collected. You see, that also that may even get it disqualified if you can show an emotion that there was no proper procedure followed in a collection of this evidence, therefore it can't be verified and trusted. That's what you argue with evidence. You don't argue it ain't your clients. You don't admit it at your clients, but you're saying, I don't give a fuck whose it is. Look at these ragtag band of fucking morons and windbreakers going in looking for microscopic evidence that we all know. 80% of the dust in your house is dead skin. What do you think 80% of the dust is at 7-Eleven? Huh? At the Pizza Shack? What do you think it is? It's your neighbors, your friends, people you never met. It's their dead skin cells you're walking around in, which means you pick it up and move it. So when you enter a crime scene, you better damn sure be in a sterile outfit that's changed, cleaned, bagged, checked. And that was not done here. So you're not going to argue that it isn't Brian Kohlberger's per se. You're going to argue that collection process of that DNA and the type of DNA it is and the probability that it could be brought from anywhere with anybody and then brought into a crime scene, those very people that came into that crime scene could have brought Brian Kohlberger's DNA in with them. Whether you like it or not, that's true. And the fact is you can't even sort out whether it's true or false because the people that collected it were dressed like pigs that had wings. You know? That's how you take evidence out. You don't argue. Sometimes it's not. There's no value in arguing it isn't yours unless you can clearly show it isn't yours. Right? So it's you don't try to discriminate the evidence as evidence. Now you can in this because it's DNA transfer DNA. She also could present that battle, but the big battle I would make would be, I don't know how we trust microscopic particles collected by people that were dressed to be, rummaging through a salvage yard, not a crime scene. Right?
Yeah. Clue said dropping gloves. Clue said dropping gloves on the ground and all. They just mishandled things. I mean,
walking in and out of the house with the same booties on.
Yeah.
Not wearing the protective face coverings, just wearing a COVID mask. I mean, if a COVID mask worked, nobody would have died from COVID.
Well, and that's the thing. That's another piece of information that I can't imagine that wouldn't be shared by the defense in regards to proving that the crime scene was mishandled to some degree. Just showing that aerial video of the forensics team dropping gloves on the ground. That's right. That would create doubt in my mind, and it would take a hell of an expert.
Well, how many uniformed and plainclothesmen went in and out of that fucking scene before they ever started doing CSI on it? Right. How about when CSI showed up and they're walking around and among these people that aren't dressed for a crime scene fucking investigation? They're intermingling with people that are in windbreakers and suit and ties and fucking cop uniforms. They're walking by them. They're brushing against them. Are you kidding me? I mean, my God, that's not how you investigate. And look at it. If you found semen or blood, you wouldn't get getting this objection from me at all. You follow me?
Yeah.
I think this needs to be said clearly so people understand why some of us see it the way I see it. It's because what they found that they claim to be Brian's is dead skin cells. You lose 500 million of them a day, 5,700 a second. And 80% of the dust in your home is your dead skin cells. So the idea that you think that you can't pick that up and transfer someone else's skin cell, that is an absolute scientific fact. Now, if this were semen, if this were blood, if there were his hair, you see, this argument wouldn't apply. And I think this is where people get fucked up on this whole thing because they think DNA is DNA is DNA. And that's a huge mistake. Cletus?
I don't know. I think it's I think it's amazing how many people get emotionally invested in his guilt or innocence when at the end of the day, and you've made this point before, but at the end of the day, the reality is 99% of us, it doesn't directly impact in terms of whether he's guilty or he's not. But the outcome of the case and the process of the case that it goes through absolutely could, because it sets a precedent.
Well,
And
well,
that,
it's not even a precedent. It's following a pattern that already exists. That's why.
well, it reinforces a precedent. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, this is going on all over the country, especially in politics, where they'll use the legal system to just strong arm somebody or destroy you.
Yeah.
Right. Look what they did to that Martha Stewart. You know how many people did what Martha Stewart did, and the only one to go to jail for it was her. Even with Trump and this ruling in New York about real estate values, let me just tell you, the best investment for many reasons. Real estate is the best investment mainly because of its tax benefit. And if people don't understand that, then they shouldn't be in real estate. Did you know that was the major advantage to real estate?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's appreciation, it's depreciation, it's cost versus its income. There's so many tax benefits to real estate. It's stunning, bro. And Trump didn't do anything any other person that has a real estate holding didn't do. He didn't cheat the bank. The bank got paid back in full. If he would have said the building was worth $500 billion and the bank would have said, okay, well, here's $200 billion, and it was only worth $100, who the fuck cares? He paid it back. But the value is a perceived value. It's your perception, your evaluation of the market, your evaluation of what something like that's worth. So you could get, and shopping appraisers, all real estate investors shop for good appraisers. And what's a good appraiser? One that sees your building in a favorable value, or your home, or your apartment complex. That's the way the system's set up to work. And you may think it's not fair. It's not. You may think it's not right. It's not. But it isn't breaking a law. And yet they were able to convict him on that. They convinced the jury or whoever they convinced. And the sad thing is it's not a crime what the guy did. Literally, and if it is a crime, all of them that are involved, anybody that owns real estate is all party to that crime. It's like putting a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign on a highway, a 4-lane highway that supports 65, and then writing everybody a ticket that went 25 miles an hour. All right.
Yeah.
It's crazy what happened in that guy's case. And it's happening in other cases with him too, where the law is being used to pummel this guy. But I believe what it is also doing is it's educating the viewer that you're powerless, and if you do anything the government disagrees with, they're going to come and destroy you. That's the message that's being pumped out into the public. Fair enough?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And then you look at Kohlberger's case. Look, if this guy did it, I'm not sure we'll ever know. But I would have demanded better evidence to have arrested me. And if your evidence against me is as fucked up as Ann Taylor's showing us it is, you should be letting me out of jail.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem that when the discovery finally gets produced, that would be at the latest the point where a motion to dismiss should be filed. If what she's claiming is provable, I can't imagine that wouldn't be the point where that should be done. Because I could see some level of argument up to that, right? But once the discovery is produced, I can't see what the argument would be to it if her claims are provable. So,
I'm stuck on the same page with you. I don't, and you know what? So Mr. Hughes he's guilty, you know, and he depends on that Linda Lane footage. And I want to just say this: there is a Hyundai Elantra in that footage. There's no doubt in that parking lot. That's a Hyundai Elantra.
Well, he doesn't just depend upon that, but it's, you know, he does have the belief. He said that, right? I believe he's guilty. And he said that's just my opinion. And I'd love to have the opportunity to finish that conversation and try to point out that belief is not an opinion. If it is, then it's not a belief. It's bullshit.
Yeah, you can't believe in data. So the belief that what you're seeing is exactly something that you can't prove. That's what belief does. It eliminates the need for evidence. And that's why there's a lot of stupid motherfuckers in the world. You all think believing something is what the level of fucking understanding is, and it's not. Believing in something is the level of ignorance that you've grown accustomed to. You never believe in data. The data must be, it must be understood based on what's in front of you. And it's always going to be self-explanatory. You might have to read something. You might have to ask a couple of fucking questions. But when you see videos like these screwballs are showing us tonight of shadows and reflections and a vague fuck, there's a car in a parking lot doing a U-turn. Okay. How do you know that that's Brian Koberger? His fucking phone was off for 2 hours. They couldn't track him. So based on that image, you proved to me Brian Koberger's behind the wheel of that car, and it ain't some fucking escort looking for the address of the guy that wants a fucking blowjob. Show me who's in that car, Cletus, and you can't. I'm just saying, bro. That's why I get incised with these people that have been on here for years and they think they're true crime. If you can't place Koberger in that car unequivocally, with no doubt, then you can't call that Koberger's car. You have an image of a Hyundai Elantra doing a fucking U-turn in an area where a crime took place. That's all you have there. Fair enough?
I mean, unless they have, cameras that came from Nick Barris security.
They got that slant-eyed Chinese satellite zooming in on Koberger, and they still couldn't get it right because that fucking Tommy Jude got a hold of it and turned it into asphalt reflections. Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, Cletus, it's been an hour and a minute. It's been 61 minutes. I don't know what we accomplished here other than reminding the viewer, smarten the fuck up. Quit being like fucking Hughes. I believe. Go believe in God because there's no proof needed for you to believe in God. That's the only place you should fucking use your belief.
Can I ask Sarge something?
Yikes. Yes, Clue.
If you locate the person who was headed over there to give the blowjob, can you let her know that next time she's responsible for spit shining cock tower? Because my jaw hurts.
Holy shit. You heard it here. Cock Tower is spit shined by Illuminati. Why are we not surprised? Let's just hope that the Lig My Balls Convention Center is also handled by her and not her Beyonce. I know they hung up, but I know they could hear this. Oh my God. What a dirty girl. All right, folks. It's been an exciting hour, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? I'm not sure. You liked it? You didn't like it? I don't give a fuck. Just remember, you don't have to be ignorant. Ignorance is just a simple lack of information. That's all it is. Very easy to overcome. Stupid? Well, duct tape won't even work on that. Good night. Be good. Stay out of trouble. And we'll see you again.